Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Just Another Guy on the Internet yet again. In today's video we are going to be reviewing the RMS Cedric made by CreeperCraftCity. And yeah, so this is the second ship of the big four. And it's very similar to the Celtic that I reviewed not too long ago. And yeah, so I may or may not fly through some bits just because it's pretty much the same if you watch that video. But yeah, so yeah, here's Cedric, launched in, I think, 1903, somewhere about there. So just a couple years after the actual Celtic. And the Cedric would be followed by the Baltic a couple years after that. So yeah, you can see it's very much similar to the actual Celtic itself. Of course, it is pretty much the same design, with a few minor differences. Which you can see just as we pass the second class deckhouse right there. It's been expanded a little bit. So, but there are going to still be some interior changes. So, yeah. And here we go. So it looks very nice. I'm not going to spend too much time with the actual exterior, because it's pretty much the same. So yeah, although it does look very nice, I must say. And as you can see, there's an actual wireless apparatus. That's very interesting. So does Cedric have an actual Marconi room? I guess we're going to find out. So yeah. And yeah, of course, let's start out at the bridge here. You got your bridge wings, telegraphs, helm, all pretty much the same as Celtic. And we got the actual wheelhouse itself. Not too much changed here. And the actual chart room back here. And then, yeah, you got your staircase leading down to the officer's quarters. Gonna get some deja vu here, because we've all pretty much seen this before. Yeah, all of it is pretty much the same here. Of course, you got the compass platform right above the skylight, the lounge skylight. Yeah, so skylights, vents, funnels, of course. And then, yeah, for the actual sun deck, not a lot actually changed. Skylights are still here, you know, all the different vents and other small details. You got the engine casing, the tank room, right here. Yeah, a lot of detail. Very impressed. And yeah, emergency exits, so that leads to the boiler room, one of the boiler rooms. And yeah, so down here on the boat deck, of course, you do have the lifeboats here. But you can see that one of the differences is that the Cedric, which I mentioned in the previous video, was the first White Star ship equipped with Welland davits, which were used on, you know, ships like the Olympic class and Titanic. So yeah. And yeah, so you got all the boats are numbered, which is a nice touch. You know, just adds a little bit of detail, which I really like. So yeah, more skylights. You got the actual boat deck here. I don't think really anything changed here. Yeah, it's all really the same here. Especially for the actual officers' quarters. Like, this is all the same. You know, the captain's bedroom and private bath. So if you've seen my Celtic video, then yeah, this is all pretty much the same. And yeah, you got the chart room. Although I will still kind of, you know, show some parts in case this is like the first video you're watching, so you haven't seen a Celtic yet. And yeah, so this is all pretty much the same. And then yeah, so the Celtic, the Cedric, still has, you know, the island bridge, which on Adriatic Sea deck would kind of be connected, but here they still didn't really think to do that. And yeah, so you have the grand entrance, main, we're really only kind of staircase for first class here. And yeah, it's very much the same as the Celtic, as you can see. And then here's the lounge, and here you can see that it's a little bit different. One of the main differences is that they got rid of the dome. There's no dome here now. Kind of a skylight that overlooks the dome of the dining saloon. So yeah, they got rid of that. And now it actually kind of looks similar to what you see on Majestic, where there was no skylight here in the lounge. Although the dining saloon did have the dome, but you couldn't look through them. So the Celtic was the last ship that did that. And then here on Cedric and onwards, yeah, no more skylights or domes here for the actual lounge. That look down to the dining saloon. You still do have the skylight, over here, so that's nice. Slightly different ceiling kind of design here. It looks like just sandstone instead of red sandstone, which is interesting. And yeah, I got the bookcase, the flooring here, and the paneling still pretty much the same. Very nice. And then yeah, all of this is still pretty much the same. You got the gentleman lavatory here, of course, and the bar. And the smoke room is still pretty much the same style and everything. The only difference is that the windows are a little bit bigger, which is correct because on the photos I've seen, the windows are like a double version of the windows on Celtic, where it's like they put two of them side by side and kind of added a little design on top. It's much easier to explain when you have the actual photos. So, but yeah, it is correct. So kind of larger windows. Other than that, everything's still the same. Flooring same. The interesting wall pattern is still here. Skylight. So smoke room looks good. And then let's see. So yeah, promenade space. You pretty much get the idea here. And yeah, I really like this view right here when you're walking on the deck and you can look up at the funnels. Looks very nice, especially with all of the rigging added. And yeah, so you can see that this deck house for second class has been expanded a bit, which on Celtic it was just like a little deck house here without this whole area up here. But on Cedric it's been expanded a little bit, so you still have the two lifeboats here. I think I'm now on the same level as the actual boats over there. And then you got a skylight here. So yeah, but it's still open deck space. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get up here. I guess it's really only for crew then, and then passengers will only come up here during an emergency by using the ladders. And then yeah, that's it for the boat deck, or A deck, whichever you prefer. And then we have B deck. So yeah, officers' quarters, they're all pretty much the same. So yeah, you got the 5th officer, very nice, and you can see it's still the same kind of style that we've seen on Celtic. And yeah, so you got bathrooms, of course. 2nd officer. So, yeah, you pretty much get it. And okay, yeah, so let's go back into first class. Yeah, grand entrance. And yes, the companionway is still, I think, pretty much the same. Yeah, I mean, there were some small changes, you can see for down here. It's a little bit different. You got the double doors going on. Which, was that there on Celtic? Oh boy. I can't remember for the life of me, but The staircase is still a little bit different because it doesn't zigzag like the Celtic. It's all of the landings are like they face forwards. So when you come down, you're facing forwards when you first get off. So, but yeah, still kind of the same style, and these cabins as well. And of course, you got your lavatories here. Still got the windows from Oceanic, the like little stained glass windows. And yeah, got all the different cabins here. And then yeah, of course, you got the staterooms here. This area looks a little bit different, yeah, than Celtic. So you got kind of like the staterooms, the private baths here. And you got the skylights, kind of overlooking the hallways. Oh, that's interesting. So that now there's actually kind of like two kind of suites that have shared baths. Interesting. I actually didn't know that. And that's why I actually like reviewing these because, I still kind of learn some new stuff. Just small details, like, oh yeah, the two suites they had, shared baths. It's still nice to know, so. And yeah, linen lockers and stuff, so, on the outside you have cabins here. And then, kind of the interior you have stuff like stewardesses and lavatories and linen lockers, similar to the Olympic class. So not a whole lot changed there. Of course, except these don't have the period styles. These are all pretty much the same style. And yeah. So yeah, there's first class. And yeah, you got to still have the staircase here. And then you got the staircases leading down to second class. So yeah, and then you got this area here, which wasn't, well, it didn't look like this on Celtic. And there's actual gangways here, interesting. But there's not really any like second class areas. It's really the musicians here, which were considered second class passengers. So that's why they're up here. I think there's supposed to be beds there. Huh. Alright. But yeah, it's really only the musicians that are up here. And then you got, staircase leading back down and a little skylight overlooking the dining saloon. And like these random bulkheads here, yeah, with some benches. And then yeah, of course, back here, behind this gate is third class. So got a lot of detail here. Again, very similar to Celtic. Got all the usual stuff you could find. And then yeah, you got docking bridge, of course. So very nice. And then yeah, of course you got, the interesting staircases that are completely left open to the elements. And then yeah, some second class entrances down here. Of course, we'll take a closer look at that when we start reviewing this deck right now. And then yes, so forecastle, should we really explore anything here? I mean, it's pretty much the same. Yeah. Although I know some of you guys, for some of you guys watching this that don't actually own Minecraft, just kind of showing you, what would have been like. And yeah, so of course this is now first class. You got the little land air units, and you do have the kind of separate entrance here for first class. And this area, you can see that they kind of rearranged it a little bit differently. So you got the doctor's cabin here and the surgery room, which are, kind of here now. On Celtic, they're a little bit more over here. But yeah, and then there's just cabins here, which we saw in Celtic. So, one or two berth cabins, and of course you still do have the staircase here leading down to the dining saloon. And yeah. So superstructure, got your gangways here. Got the grand entrance, which we already kind of saw, but it's slightly different than Celtic. Of course, the pursers are still here. No inquiry office yet. This wouldn't come until Adriatic. And got some more cabins here, of course. The layout here is pretty much the same, same style. And yeah. So, a lot of detail. Assistant purser. Okay, so yeah, there's his cabin. And the actual pursers here, so you would come through here and work. Although, this is a very interesting setup because you have like these really small windows, so interesting. And yeah, so of course, main staircase and more staterooms back here. Again, same style. You get it by this point, hopefully. And again, very similar to Celtic, if not the same. And yeah, lavatories. Gonna try to kind of explore some areas that I didn't explore on Celtic, so. And yeah, so these are all the same pretty much. Yeah, cabins. And yeah, so this is the end of first class, and you go back into second. And yeah, you got the staircase here, which are really for crew. So yeah, gangways for second class, so this is how second class would board. And you got very convenient entrances right around the other side here. And yeah, you can see that this is pretty much the same as Celtic. The only difference is you can see that the dining saloon is right here. Whereas on Celtic there was kind of like a hallway, and then the entrance to the dining saloon was on the right side. And if you went left, there would be a passenger accommodation. But yeah, as for this area up on C deck, it's pretty much the same. You got the smoke room here. Yeah, this didn't really change much. As you can see, it's all the same. Still got the bar here and the little water closet. Same for the actual library. And yeah, so those are the only second class areas on the promenade deck. And then of course you got the staircase that leads up to the musicians here. And yeah. So cargo hatch, and then you got the iron bars here to separate second class and third class. And this right here is all we pretty much already saw on earlier in the video. So yeah, and then up next we have the saloon deck, which is still very much the same as Celtic. So of course we still have crew and third class in the forward section. So you got your fireman's lavatory there, third class lavatories here, locker. Yeah, you got lavatories here, which I think I toured these specific ones in Celtic, so gonna try to review some other areas that we haven't really seen before. Third class entrance, I think we already saw that. And you can see it still has these windows looking into first class, which I never really understood that. So let's see, crew galley. Okay, so crew galley over here. Crew only. So let's see, you got stairs here. Master, so I think like the master at arms, boatswain and mate. Carpenter and joiner. Anchor winches, so yeah, some anchor winches at the very front here. as you can see, and then a little storage area at the very, very front. Okay, now, and then, yeah, of course, you got the cargo hatch going all the way down, lamp and storekeeper. So, yeah, all of these are really the same style here, just kind of furniture arranged a little bit differently. With that, yeah, let's go back into first class. 3 emergency exit. So yeah, you got more cabins here. Pretty much the same here. Still no staircase, as you can see. That leads to the Turkish bath. Of course, that wouldn't come until Adriatic. And yeah, so some baths here, of course. Those baths are really small. And this is where the stairs would come down from the forward section on the sea deck. And yeah, let's see, crew only. So a little crew area here, leading down to kind of the food storage areas. And then you got the dining saloon, first class dining saloon. Same style as Celtic, of course. I don't think this really changed much. See, the dome here is the same as on Celtic, but of course the difference being you can't look up to the actual lounge. So, yeah, instead it's just cabins that replace the actual, like, shaft for the dome. But yeah, dining saloon, of course, for first class. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much the same here. And the staircase comes down here. And yeah. And then back here, of course, you have kind of a little hallway here. With a little bit of crew spaces, like a little pantry here. This wasn't here on Celtic. This area was arranged a little differently. Service. And then, yeah, so this time around you have alternate first and second class cabins. So instead of there being 2 separate areas for strictly first and second class, you now have alternate cabins. So if there's a higher demand for second class cabins, then these would be second class cabins. If there was a higher demand for first class, this would be first class. So it just depends on how many passengers there are on a certain voyage. Of course, that's really nothing new. We see this on many other ships. And yeah, so you still have the chief steward here. And of course, over here is the saloon pantry, first class pantry and galley spaces. Yeah, cabin galley. Interesting with the saloon and cabin, like, terms. Chef's office. And yeah, stairs to E deck. And this leads to, like, Scotland Road, pretty much, which the big 4, kind of had here. Third class galley, I don't think we explored this on Celtic, so. But yeah, confectioner shop. So just your typical galley spaces that you could hope to find. Of course, you got the baker's shop here. You got another air hatch. And yeah, so you kind of got an emergency exit here as well. Yeah, and this leads to the alternate cabins. And yeah, so I kind of consider this Scotland Road on the big 4. Engineer's mess room with a little pantry. Yeah, engine room, fan room, and second class pantry. To dining saloon. So yeah, this leads just outside of the actual second class dining saloon here. And speaking of which, this is the actual second class dining saloon. You can see they expanded it a little bit on Cedric, but it still doesn't span the full width of the ship. Other than that, it's still pretty much the same room, same style and everything. And you do have these windows that look into third class and crew. And then, yeah, so you got, stairs that lead back up to the promenade deck, smoke room and library. Very nice. And yeah, so you got a staircase leading down to some cabins on E deck. And alternate first and second class cabins. And you can also see a barber shop for second class. Now, this is nothing new. Second class on the Oceanic actually had a barber shop. So, and let's see, so some stewardesses here as well. Good. And so let's actually take a look at some of these cabins here. Alright. So, yeah. Kind of the same style here and everything. And yeah, so like I've said, this is, alternate cabins, for if there's a higher demand for second or first class passengers. And that's it for second class on this deck, actually. So, let's see. Gonna have to fly through here. Alright, so yeah, back in crew and third class. And yeah, men lavatory. So plenty of lavatories for third class. Gangway, cargo hatch, some storage, store. Wash place. And yeah, so stairs leading back up to the promenade deck. More cargo hatches. And more lavatories. Although on here there was gangways on Celtic. So now there's lavatories. Interesting. And yeah, so just more lavatories. And then yeah, more staircases and the dining room. So the dining room is still here, of course. And it's pretty much the same. Although yeah, it did have kind of the windows looking into the cargo hatch. Which is correct because I've seen photos of the dining saloon and it did have something like that. There would be like the little portholes kind of looking into it. And back here you do have the steering engine. And kind of an, access for crew. For easy access if they need to get to the steering engine. And yeah, you got kind of the little galley here. Kind of caged in, similar to Oceanic. And so there's like a little area here. Alright. Not sure why I was really focused on that. But yeah, so there's the saloon deck. And then on E and F decks, it's pretty much the same as Celtic. And where do we end up? Bedroom stewards, so leading stewards. And yeah, so you got dormitory, crew spaces. Yep, just more stewards. Wooden floor, white walls. Watertight doors, of course. Servants. So yeah, just a lot of crew spaces. Scullions. And the anchor chains come through their room. Interesting. And this hallway kind of like is angled, so. And so just more stewards. A lot of stewards here. Oh yeah, and here's the random like third class dining room that's here. Passenger staircase, third class hospital. Yeah, this is all pretty much the same. Yeah, crew only, so yeah, these are the food storage areas, right? Yep. So yeah, groceries, of course, you got everything that you need here. It is a little confusing, so. But we'll manage somehow. And fruit room, whoa! I like all of the kind of the custom items here to represent, Oh, and you got the ice machines, like the ice making machines on the Olympic class. And third class. So just some third class access points. Drying room. And yeah, as you can see, it is definitely, confusing if you're not familiar with the actual layout here. So let's pop back into third class. So we got some cabins here. Very basic, as you can see. Usually 2 or 4 berth. And yeah, so you got this kind of, some main staircase here. And even a little skylight. Very nice. And yeah, so just a lot of cabins here. Very much all the same. Emergency exit. So yeah, there's the engine casing. A little sneak peek at that. And then yeah, we're really in some of the more back spaces of Cedric here, as you can see. Just a lot of cabins, like, wow. Even I'm shocked at just how many cabins they managed to fit in here. Lavatory. Got kind of a Boswick gate here. And yeah, just cabins here. Oh, here's a one of 6 berths. Although I'm trying to find second class, oh yeah, because I know there's some second class cabins down here. So again, same style as you can see. And then what's over here? Baths. All right. So then yeah, pantry, good. And yeah, so along the starboard side here on E deck, there's some second class cabins. Emergency exits. So yeah, a lot of emergency exits. And yeah, so these stairs are the ones that come down right outside of the dining saloon here. And I think this is actually the only way to access this point. So, and yeah, that's actually it for second class. There's no more second class areas to explore. And that's actually it for the actual for E deck. And then we'll check out F deck. Probably not going to spend too much time there again because it's all very much the same and kind of boring at the same time. And yeah, so third class cabins, forward. Very basic, as you can see. Very basic. And of course, later on Adriatic, there would be some of these rooms would be removed to make space for the Turkish bath. And yes, this is right outside the hospital. Yeah, cabins. And, ooh, that's interesting. What is this? Store hatch. I guess for, actually, yeah, for, delivering the actual cargo, and then you would move it through here. So, yeah. And then, yeah, so just more crew. Yeah, firemen, trimmers. All the same, style here. And as you saw right there, we actually kind of got the mess hall, yeah, for the actual stewards. Boiler room, so kind of an access for the boiler room here. And looks like we got some coal bunkers going on here. Because on the mid section of F deck, on the big 4, there really wasn't anything off to the sides except for the spaces having to do with the actual boiler rooms and engine spaces. So it's similar to G deck on the Olympic class, where on G deck, there wasn't any passenger spaces midships. For the entire mid portion, only at the bow and stern were the actual passenger areas. So yeah, crew only. All right, and more cabins. Yeah, again, the same. I'm even getting tired of saying it myself, because it's all pretty much the same. I mean, what else do you really want me to say? And then, yeah, so there was this staircase that we saw earlier. And so we got another kind of hatch here for the meat chambers. Alright, so yeah, linen closet. And kind of the last of the cabins here, yeah. A lot of cabins, I must say. And then, yeah, we're at the very back here. So yeah, all that's left is the actual hold, you know, the orlop deck, kind of tank top, which are very similar to Celtic. These really didn't change too much during the actual, for all of the ships, even Adriatic. They remained relatively the same. Yeah, right here you really can't see much, I apologize. This is kind of a cool view. Whoa, look at this. This is cool. So yeah, you got kind of like the little passage here. You got these rooms, which I wasn't really sure what they were on Celtic, so wouldn't know what they are on here. And yeah, so you got the boiler rooms, very nice. A lot of detail. Got the coal bunkers. You know, very similar boilers to what you see on the Olympic class and many other White Star liners. And yeah, engines are pretty much the same. The like engineering spaces on like a class of ships are not gonna change much. And yeah, so you got the propeller shafts. As you see, they're very long. And where did we end up here? Oh boy. It's really dark. Again, I apologize. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and then you do have the actual meat chambers here, which on the deck plans I have of Adriatic, yeah, there were these, like, meat chambers, although, I think there were, like, 4 of them on Adriatic. Okay, so they just kind of, here on Cedric, they just kind of have them on 2 separate decks here. Alright, cool. And then, yeah, so, back in 3rd class. And, yeah, so there you guys have it. There's the Cedric, made by CreeperCraft. And yeah, so very nice ship, I must say, you know. Very nice representation of it. Of course, you know, it is very similar to Celtic, so probably just copy and pasted it and just made the appropriate changes. But it is very nice, you know, got all the details right as far as I know, with the knowledge that I have. Everything is pretty much correct. So, very accurate ship. Again, if you're a fan of the White Star line, or especially the Big Four, definitely get this. Because there's definitely, again, a lot of stuff to explore that I didn't cover in this video. I probably toured, like, I don't know, maybe like a quarter of the total spaces on board. So, there is a lot still left to explore, so if you have the actual game, definitely worth your time, you know, exploring some of this, you know, especially some of these less known White Star liners. They don't get a lot of attention, so, and yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have to say. So yeah, next time, you know, of course, there's probably going to be a different ship of a different class, but for like this little, you know, series, of course, the next ship that comes along is the Baltic. So that one's going to be very exciting to check out as well. And yeah, guys, so that's going to be the end of the video here. If you have any suggestions or, you know, comments, again, you know, leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, so that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye for now.